BladeBinge.com is a company where you can buy and sell newer used knives. They have 100% protection for both parties, so there's no risk for the buyer or sellers. I personally think this is a great company, which is why they are today's video sponsor. And it wound up working out perfectly because of the video idea. So if you want to check out the knives I have for sale, for a really good price, by the way, or any other newer used knives, or possibly sell some of your own, check out BladeBinge.com. Links in the description. Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we're checking out a bunch of new knives and a bunch of new EDC, and this is an Olon's knife. It is an affordable knife, under 40 bucks. The price is always subject to change, so just check the links down in the description. It has a drop point dual ground tanto in 14C28N. The grind is, they have a flat on both grinds, so both of these are flat grind, even though it is still a dual grind. The secondary tip's not very pronounced, so you could technically just sharpen it out and make it a drop point, basically be a dual ground drop point, and that's the way it's going to work anyways. The tip does drop down enough where it's going to work just like a drop point blade. The handle is in G10 with steel liners, phenomenal access to that lock bar. Super duper smooth. The front flipping action is great on this. This is a great front flipper for people to learn how to front flip on, because the size, the weight, the distance right here from, here to here is really good for, for doing a front flipping flip. The clip is a deep carry clip in set, but it does have button screws. I wish they were flat. Not reversible either. The size of the knife is compact, but still basically a full-size knife for, somewhat of a smaller knife. It is somewhat slim, so it's going to be very easy to carry. The shove and control and plunge grind, it's okay. You've got a few sharpenings. It's almost hitting the edge, but this is such an affordable knife, I'm not going to complain. They do have another model coming. I actually have it on the way. It's going to be here in a few weeks. But shout out to the person that brought it to my attention. It's a new model by them that has replaceable blades with different blade shapes in 14C28N. And if you guys don't know, Olon's has multiple knives already with the replaceable blades in, I think, 9CR. And some of them are in titanium, and they're really well priced. They're just like a super great value. Next is the Sito, and this is a knife by DC Blades. I have already featured it on the channel, but it's just been briefly, and I pulled it out and I was like, man, this thing's like really cool. I need to give some more attention to it. For a clip point Bowie style blade shape, such a snub nose clip point Bowie style, man, this thing is really cool. The action is phenomenal. The one thing is the detent ball, or sorry, where it hits the detent is a little late. So, it is a little difficult to get past it. It does have a ramp, so it is very smooth. You can just like shake it and it'll go right past it. But I do double clutch a lot hitting that detent, but it's not a big deal. Most people won't even notice it because most people, just close their knife. So, they don't really care. The blade is a dual grind, nice thick tip up here. So this is gonna be a very durable tip with a deep hollow grind right here. M390 blade steel, beautiful satin finish. The fuller works great action-wise. Shove and control and plunge grind, I'm gonna give it a pass because they it stops right there. They gave you a few sharpenings. It's thin behind the edge, so could it be bigger? Yeah, but it's fine. Titanium frame lock with micarta inlays, and then we have a titanium mill pocket clip and back spacer, and then I believe this is OEM'd by Migaron. Pretty positive on that. Has micro milling texture on the handle. I really like that. This flipping action is just phenomenal though, man. Detent is great. The reverse flick's amazing. Even the thumb flick is pretty decent. The reverse flick is definitely primary. Well, the reverse flick and the flipper tab is the primary, I should say. But I mean, compared to the thumb or the reverse flick is better. But both are great. Compact in the hand for sure. This is something that my pinky can still get in there. So like I can, get a very solid grip with this, but it is very stubby. But I think that's kind of the point. It's a short, stubby knife that has a very slicey edge for the slicing portion, but then it gets tough towards the tip, if you were gonna use it for, other purposes that, you know, you might be a little bit tougher on the tip. As far as the micarta inlays, they are done very well. They're set very nicely. You don't feel any transitions or anything. I like that. That's extremely well done. T8 hardware all the way around. Love to see that. Yeah, all in all, this thing's a pretty cool knife. Now, the clip is where it falls short. It's a little bit tight, and I wish these cutouts, one, were on the inside instead of the outside, but I wish there was just more room under that clip. My thick jeans don't fit very well. For regular jeans, most people, you know, Levi's or whatever, it's gonna work just fine. It'll be, you know, it'll go in and out of the pocket just fine. But when you get to the thicker pocket jeans, it winds up, you know, not being so good. It doesn't go in the pocket all the way. So anyways, let's get to the next one. Next is the new JACKWOLD knife. This is the Bionic Jack. This is a locking JACKWOLD, and this is a good one. This is a really, really good one from Ben. He did do some little changes on this model that, you know, maybe, you know, he took from videos, you know, saying things like, one being the clip. There's more room underneath it now. The other ones were really tight. I can get this one all the way in the pocket now with my thick jeans, which I love to see. The front flipper is slightly different than the other models, and man, it works so good. This is a great front flipper, like a phenomenal front flipper. And then look how drop shutty this knife is, considering it has a very, very, very deep hollow grind. I mean, this thing is paper thin at the edge, and it is basically a full hollow from spine to edge, and it is very deep. I mean, all the way up here is super thin. So for this light of a blade to be that smooth on the drop, that's just amazing. S9 EV, and it does come in 4 or 5 different options. I really like the black and yellow one. It's like a caramel color acrylic. It looks really badass. This one though is, you know, basically the watermelon flavored one. Looks really cool as well. All of them do. All of them look amazing. This handle, this titanium handle, is very, very ergonomic. It just works where it kinks down right there. It literally just fits a hand perfectly. Pinch grips, it doesn't really matter any direction, it's going to work very, very well. The reverse flicking fuller or nail nick is super good. You know, it has plenty of sharpness, so when you go to use it, your finger does catch, which is really cool. You can easily slow roll it around. You can slow roll the front flipper too. Which I do like to see, because some front flippers, even though this one does hide behind the scales for a second, you can still get to it, which is always cool. All in all, man, I really, really, really like this one. I know these guys are really expensive, and a lot of people are saying, you know, that they are overpriced. And, you know, I would say, yeah, you know, they do have a high price tag, but, you know, I do still kind of get it. Now, there is some competition coming. I shouldn't spill the beans just yet, but there is some competition coming from a USA company for, I believe, the same price, and they're doing a slip joint. It is a really, really nice slip joint. Now, JACKWOLD knives, because of this ridiculously thin, deep, full hollow grind, that's what makes him stand out, as far as, because that's going to produce the best cutting performance you can get out of any knife, is going to be a blade like this. Now, nitpicks, right? Nitpicks. One, I wish the lock bar had a cutout. I always say that about his locking knives. He likes to do the chamfer. He likes it nice and straightforward right here. He must not like the look of it. But to me, like, I feel like this design would have been perfect, you know, to shape a cutout kind of like, you know, the shapes that he already has going on. He could have done like a little square cutout. That would have looked really cool. And it just makes it easier for disengagement. Now, these, none of them are bad. All of them are just fine. They're good. Most people are not going to complain. I complain because I like a lot of access, but that's me. The centering on these is always really good. This one's actually maybe slightly off, but I've been flicking the hell out of it. Typically they are perfect though, and I'm sure it is. Yeah, I just need to tighten up the pivot slightly. Let me just hit it. Also, T8 hardware all the way around. I love to see that. Yeah, there we go. So all in all, the only nitpick I have really is that one. The sharpening choil is going to be just fine. You have a lot of life there to sharpen off. You can see where the plunge grind ends. It is way back where technically right where the plunge grind starts is where it ends. So that's awesome. Man, this action is ridiculous. Yeah, this is a really cool one. I like this one a lot. He does have a thing that you can, a tab that you can put in there if you want to keep it like, not like a slip joint, but like a pocket carry, you know, and you can carry it in a sheath or something like that if you wanted to. I prefer a clip all day, every day. So, yeah, so that's the way I personally would do it. Full titanium backspacer too. You can see that it looks like it acts as the stop. No, it doesn't actually stop. It has an internal stopping, which I also love to see. Awesome knife. Yeah, I don't really have too many nitpicks or negatives on that one. Next is a little wrench from Titaner that is on Kickstarter. It's almost done though, so it literally only has probably like a week left, or you know, so many days left. This is the Ti Spanner 2.0 Compact. It's actually really cool. So it's made of titanium, and I have I've had a bunch of stuff from Titaner. They do a pretty good job with a lot of their work. This has the ability to go up to 1 3/8 inches open, and it has a nail puller, it has a bottle opener, it has if you close it all the way, it actually has a glass breaker on it, which is, I believe, a piece of carbide right there that you can use. So it's actually a little multi-tool. Oh yeah, it even has a little diamond file. And then it does come with tritium. Mine did not. I installed my own tritium, but I believe you can actually get them, and they will be coming with tritium installed already, and there's like 3 or 4 different colors to choose from. I installed my own, but yeah, it's a pretty cool little tool to have on your keychain, because you never know if you're going to run into just like, you know, just something light duty that you need to turn, tighten, or whatever. And, you know, definitely can come in hand. And then there's so many other little things that you can use it for that it makes it to where, you know, it could be a really cool little asset on your keychain. This little guy right here, I just threw it on there. I thought it looked cool. For the thumbnail next to you know, the knife in the thumbnail from JACKWOLD. This is from KUBEY. So KUBEY is the one who makes this. That's where you can get it. I'll see if I can link it down below, but man, it's really cool. I love the color scheme. But this little guy, like I said, it's only going for a few more days until, you know, the Kickstarter ends. So if you're wanting to get one of these, definitely get it now. And I think you save like 20 bucks if you do it. But there's a little tiny little ceramic ball right there so that you can actually measure. So if you have something where you need to actually measure something, you can measure it right here and know exactly what it is. I've even noticed, like, I could use it to notch things out, you know, like in construction, sometimes you have to mark something and, you know, say do a 1/2 inch line, you know, that might be 10 inches. You can easily do that with something like this. And it just is, like I said, it's just a little handy tool that could possibly save the day in a pinch. Next is from Knife Standards, the RR3. Now, the knives in this, basically all the knives in this video are really cool knives, and this one's no exception. This thing is really badass. They did an exceptional job on it. Bionic steel, beautiful satin finish. The handle is very neutral, so it doesn't matter how you're holding it. It's going to be the exact same in any grip. Very slicey geometry. A sharpened tool and plunge grind's done perfectly well. It has an orange peel finish. Now it does actually come in different finishes and stuff. You know, DLC and, you know, stonewash finishes and stuff. This one has the orange peel, which orange peel, if you don't know, orange peel is one of the most durable finishes you can put on titanium. It makes it to where it's very, very scratch resistant. So if, you know, for a work knife or something you're going to toss around, orange peel is probably the best. I've shown in other videos where I literally take a knife and scratch it and you can't even tell. Not telling you to do that or that it's going to work, but it does hide scratches extremely well. It makes the surface more durable. But yeah, this is a compact knife, but my goodness, is it comfortable. It just works. It's such a good size. The front flipper, Great front flipper. That was my fault. Great front flipper. You can use it any direction. Again, you know, this is a knife that, because it's not so wide, it's, you know, fairly narrow, that makes it super easy to use a front flipper. Then you have thumb studs. Thumb studs are a little tight in there, but the way they are textured, they're catchy, so it actually feels like they're in a great position. You would think that this would be tight to get to, but it's not. It's tight in there, or it should be, but it's, I think they're a little proud, which makes it to where it's super easy to use them. I mean, they're very good thumb stud action. The drop, or actually the access to the lock bar, really good. They did cut it back, and then he left a little bit of a chamfer on the liner, which does work extremely well. It's nice and comfortable. Now, the blade steel being Bionic, or actually the drop, very smooth on the drop. And the Vanax steel, one of the best knife steels you can get on a knife, arguably the best. It has the most corrosion resistance of any steel that's a good knife steel, and it has a great amount of toughness, and it has an insane amount of edge retention. So it's just an all-around perfect steel for knives. And you know, it's a very expensive steel too. So seeing it on this is great. He does have a titanium mill pocket clip in here that he sent with me. I'm not sure, I don't think they all come with that, but I think you possibly can buy it. But I love the wire clip. It's super smooth in and out of the pocket. And when you carry knives for so long, yeah, wire clips, they don't look as premium as like a milled titanium clip, but they take care of your pockets. So they're super smooth, and they just wind up being more joyful to use on your pockets because they don't tear them up. All in all, I love this knife. I think they did a phenomenal job. Love the profile of it. I like the pivot. Pretty much I like everything about it. I mean, this thing is really cool. So let's get to the next one. I have no complaints on that. And then last is the Concept Link. Now, I have already featured this in another video, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna briefly show you a new knife that hasn't been shown yet. This is a badass new model from Concept. They did a great job on this. I'll be putting this in a video very, very soon. You can see the designer there. Yeah, buddy. Awesome, awesome knife. So this one though is the new Link, and it does come in a bunch of different flavors and options. Personally, for me, I love the look of this knife. The harpoon, it's a Tonto, I guess. It's a dual grind, so it has a hollow here and a flat here, but they're very similar, similarly thicked, or the thickness is similar. But I love a harpoon drop point blade like this, where it drops down like that. This edge, you know, because it does cant up right there, you can, you know, easily cut down on a flat surface. Very pokey for utility cuts. The Damascus is a 10 CR Damascus, beautiful Damascus. This one has the Damascus clip, beautiful clip. I love the orange and blues. Probably my favorite Damascus is the bright orange and blues, but good access to the lock bar. They don't really cut you back. So I guess they might have cut it back a little bit, but very slightly. But they got a nice chamfer on it, and it's very comfortable. This front flipper is extremely easy to use. The detent is perfectly tuned. It's very, very catchy. The way it wraps around right here, it's look at this. I can grab like literally like the last jimp and still flip it. So just all in all, this is a high functioning front flipper. Every knife in this video that had a front flipper has been a high functioning front flipper. Great hole deployment. You can easily get down there to that hole or the thumb studs. Now, my one issue is the thumb studs. I wish they would use sharper thumb studs. These are actually better than most, but they do this blue coating over it that can make them slippery. And I'd love to see them just use a little bit sharper thumb studs. These ones are pretty good, but a lot of their models are kind of smooth or slick. Titanium backspacer with a hidden lanyard pin back there. Super smooth on the drop. Ergonomics, it's chunky. You don't expect it to be as thick as it is. It is a thick boy. So when you're holding it, it fills the hand out very nicely. This is definitely one that's great in the pinch grip, you know, hold for utility cuts and stuff like that. The clip does sit off the scale a little bit. I could bend that, but it doesn't really bother me. It winds up working good in and out of the pocket. I carried this in downtown a couple weeks ago when I met up with Bama Knife Guy who was in town. So, but anyways, awesome knife. I like the Link a lot. Very little complaints, to be honest. You know, I already called the one, you know, the thumb studs, you know, the clip is, you know, like that. I wish it was touching, but like I do like how smooth it is in and out of the pocket. So I am perfectly happy with it. Like I said, this one just speaks to me. The look of it, everything, the action, the multiple deployments, the ergonomics, basically everything about this knife speaks to me. I could have done without the Tanto. It would have been cool if it was just a hollow ground harpoon blade shape without the Tanto, but it's so subtle, I don't even think you'd notice. And if you wanted to sharpen this out, easily could sharpen this out. You could easily make this just a harpoon blade shape, basically like a drop point, just by sharpening it like a drop point. Now, if you want to make this tip a little bit more pronounced, you can do that as well. So the beauty with knowing how to sharpen is you can change things or enhance them as you wish. But anyways, there you guys go. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.